Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 10 a.m. on the 19th of November 2024 and I'm back. I'm gathering my cojones after that emotional little emanation in my first video. I hope it's received in the spirit that it's intended, with harm to none, and as an acknowledgement of my defiant, rebellious ways and the love that I feel for all of you. And yes, as I said, my gratitude for you all keeping me safe and me keeping you safe too, my beloved ones. It's to the best of my abilities, because it's been a weird 4 years, has it not? Anyway, we continue on with chapter 3 of the Kybalion, mental transmutation. Mind, as well as metals and elements, may be transmuted from state to state, degree to degree, condition to condition, pole to pole, vibration to vibration. True hermetic transmutation is a mental art, the Kybalion. Did I not say yesterday that all healing starts from the decision within your own mind, body and spirit to heal yourself? It's not always that fucking simple, and it's not always what the gods decree, and we all have our appointed time when we transmute from this current form to another form. But it really is a powerful act to choose to heal yourself. Physician, heal thyself. To heal others around you, and to stay in that highest vibration of love that is the currency of the multiverse, the creation force of the multiverse, the highest form, up there with my deepest love of freedom as well, which is why I can be an ornery, difficult little bastard at times when I think people are trying to control me or take away my agency. But you know that about me by now, and you love me anyway, my friends. So, choosing life, even when life seemed impossible, was the ultimate act of defiance and of rebellion, and the ultimate expression of my freedom. And it cost me dear, cost me greatly, but it also gifted me greatly. And that is the mental art of the transmutation. Just going to pop up and show you what Charlie's done. Just positioned herself in my hand to snuggle. You're a sweet girl, Charlie. You're the sweetest girl. Yes, I know you want to bite me. Show the people how you can bite your mama too. How our love is very tenuous. How it can go to 0 to 100 in minus 5 seconds according to thy whims. You want to bite your mama. She's not really biting, she's just nibbling passionately. You're a passionate little birdie. A passionate little birdie. I'm not opposed to grand passions that are sweet and honouring and kind. As we have stated, the Hermetists were the original alchemists, astrologers and psychologists, Hermes having been the founder of these schools of thought. From astrology has grown modern astronomy. From alchemy has grown modern chemistry. From the mystic psychology has grown the modern psychology of the schools. But it must not be supposed that the ancients were ignorant of that which the modern schools suppose to be their exclusive and special property. The records engraved on the stones of ancient Egypt show conclusively that the ancients had a full, comprehensive knowledge of astronomy. The very building of the pyramids showing the connection between their design and the study of astronomical science. Nor were they ignorant of chemistry, for the fragments of the ancient writings show that they were acquainted with the chemical properties of things. In fact, the ancient theories regarding physics are being slowly verified by the latest discoveries of modern science, notably those relating to the constitution of matter. Nor must it be supposed that they were ignorant of the so-called modern discoveries in psychology. On the contrary, the Egyptians were especially skilled in the science of psychology, particularly in the branches that the modern schools ignore, but which nevertheless are being uncovered under the name of psychic science. That hurts, Charlie. Be gentle with the mama. Which is perplexing the psychologists of today, making them reluctantly admit that there may be something in it after all. And as I said, as a psychic and a medium, I'm very, very fucking sensitive to energy, and it can cause me to react like the canary down the mine sometimes, much earlier than other ordinary people who don't have my walk or my complex trauma issues, who are often quite oblivious. So when I say, fire, fire, danger, danger, they're just looking at me like, crazy person, what's she on about? And it takes time before they realise psychedelic dreamer was warning you, and she was right after all. Shockingly, to my great horror and astonishment, because I hoped I was wrong at the time. I wanted to be wrong. I so wanted to be wrong. But I had the courage to not be afraid of being wrong, spoke out. I think that's partly why I'm so greatly loved now that, people have been able to see that my intentions were honourable and I was being as protective as I could given the circumstances and the shadow bannings and the viciousness of the time, which we're not completely out of, by the way. There's still a lot of fallout we're going to be experiencing for the next few years, I perceive. So we're going to have to buckle up tight and ride that roller coaster, holding each other's hands across the multiverse. Those of you in more closer friendships, holding each other in each other's arms and giving each other strength and deep love and motivation and encouragement to get through the dark times. We will get through it, but it's going to be a wild fucking ride. And but not for me personally. I've already ridden that wild Mustang. For me, it's just going to be another slow walk in the park, waiting to see what everyone else does. And that too is a gift. Anyway. The truth is, that beneath the material, chemistry, astronomy and psychology, that is the psychology in its phase of brain action, the ancients possessed a knowledge of transcendental astronomy called astrology, of transcendental chemistry called alchemy, of transcendental psychology called mystic psychology. They possess the inner knowledge as well as the outer knowledge, the latter alone being possessed by modern scientists. Oh, the fights, the dreadful fights I used to have with my materialist, rationalist scientist friend, Peter down the road. I love him dearly, but by the God, he did not know how to handle me with my weird, mystical, witchy, psychic mediumship ways. And the fights we used to have. And I was so delighted when, recently even, I think it was just after his mother's death, he said something along the lines of, "You were right all along, Tanya." I just nodded. It was lovely of him to acknowledge that. It takes courage to acknowledge when you're wrong, like I was wrong about bringing back the 360-degree mosh. But oh, what fun I've had, and it was glorious, and I love you all. Among the many secret branches of knowledge possessed by the Hermetists was that known as mental transmutation, which forms the subject matter of this lesson. Transmutation is a term usually employed to designate the ancient art of the transmutation of metals, particularly of the base metals into gold. The word transmute means to change from one nature, form or substance into another, to transform. Webster Dictionary in brackets. And accordingly, mental transmutation means the art of changing and transforming mental states, forms and conditions into others. So you may see that mental transmutation is the art of mental chemistry, if you like the term, a form of practical mystic psychology. But this means far more than appears on the surface. Transmutation, alchemy or chemistry on the mental plane is important enough in its effects to be sure, and if the art stopped there, it would still be one of the most important branches of study known to man. But this is only the beginning. Let us see why. And I was gifted during an ecstatic dancing ecstatic dance on sacred holy ground at a church hall in the Uniting Church in West End. I was gifted the vision of the goddess or demoness, according to your Judeo-Christian hatred of the feminine, the vision of Lilith back in late 2019, and she must have downloaded me or gifted me more than just the alchemical symbols for lead and it was lead and it was something Saturn and Jupiter. I've forgotten now. There you go. I've already forgotten. The alchemical symbols for lead, and what was the other one she showed me? By the gods. Forgotten. Anyway, I didn't know what it meant at the time. Completely oblivious. But I asked her, I said, I see you there, standing there, spirit writhing in front of me. I had the presence in my mind because I didn't want the other dancers to think I was talking to spirits who had gone crazy. Dear goddess. It's a fine line between being a medium and being crazy. So she gifted me her name and then vanished after showing me those two symbols, which I memorised them. As soon as I got home, I wrote them down, drew them and Googled them, found out what they were. And that too was the beginning of me being protected by the gods, because then not long after that the COVID epoch began. So there's no accidents in the universe, and those of us who were forced against our own primal will to be alive on this planet in this moment, the Tanya has been gifted by astonishingly powerful metaphysical gods, angels, even demons, according to certain traditions, to be alive on this planet and to have metamorphosed to this current incarnation of the Tanya, this current version of the Tanya. 59 years, 7 months and 7 days. Astonishing. I wonder what will actually happen when I turn 60. You know, will I still be metamorphosing, or will all this reach some kind of culmination or completion, and I'll just become just a little old lady shuffling around? Or will I have my true love partner at long last and be living a whole different kind of life, one that I never imagined was really possible, even though I've dreamt of it, I've manifested it, I've prayed for it, I've yearned for it, I've cried for it, I've even died for it. If it actually happens, I don't know how I will cope, especially the first few weeks and months, because I've never been loved before, ever. Not in sexual partnership is what I'm saying. Never. Not by my husband, not by my previous lovers. Never. So it's a terrifying journey to begin. It's the fool's journey. It's diving into that abyss and not knowing if you're going to be smashed on the rocks of the vicissitudes of fate, or whether you're going to be held in strong, loving, protective, authentic, caring arms for the first time in your life. Be treasured and cherished and sustained and nurtured and held. Not just for a one-night stand and be flicked off when the birdies go tweet tweet in the morning, like used to happen to me, but a devoted, loving, long-lasting, enduring partnership for the rest of our lives together until we both get old and subsequently eventually die. It's a scary thought. Astonishing thought that might yet manifest for me at 60 years of age. If it does, it's not a delusion, fairy story fed to me by fortune tellers in the past. If it doesn't manifest, I'm okay continuing my life alone. It's all I've ever known and all I've ever been able to achieve, and I'm okay with it. It's not the end of the world. I just keep dreaming my psychedelic dream. Oh, smallest violin. What song are we playing? The most beautiful love song that has not even been written yet, because the Tanya hasn't experienced it yet. But when she does, you'll all hear it across all vortices of time and space and dimensions and echelons. Lilith made me say that, you know. She just wants to remind us of our place in the cosmos. We're all energy, primal energy, the will to live, the will to exist, the will to coexist, the will to thrive, the will to manifest all our highest potentials with harm to none and competition from none. So it is done, my darlings, my babies, my angels, my sweethearts. She kissed before me.
You're a kissy girl today. Are you a happy girl? I love you.
Right, where were we? I segued. Please forgive me with my little mama too. This is probably, let's be fair here, it's probably the beginnings of early onset dementia, these euphoric states and these meanderings and segues and wandering around of my own mind. It's not quite normal, people of Earth, and I acknowledge that too. So I may not make it and I may not be here for much longer. Who can tell? How long is a piece of string? But I'm going to enjoy what's left of my mind for as long as I have it, because I fought hard to get it back after a decade and a half of psych meds and decades of trauma. So those of you who love me even for my whimsical mind. Again, to you all. You're going to get more rain because it's just suddenly got scathing hot in here like a sauna. The first of the 7 Hermetic principles is, I hear Sally saying, why haven't you put the air conditioning on? I bought, it was bought for you and you need to utilise it. There's a little poo on your laptop again. Take a while to cool down, like about a minute or so. So I'll keep fanning while I wait for the aircon to kick in. Where were we? The first of the 7 Hermetic principles is the principle of mentalism, the axiom of which is the all is mind, the universe is mental, which means that the underlying reality of the universe is mind and the universe itself is mental. That is, getting quite hungry too. I haven't had breakfast. I have to go and cook something up. So we shall consider this principle in succeeding lessons, but let us see the effect of the principle if it be assumed to be true. If the universe is mental in its nature, then mental transmutation must be the art of changing the conditions of the universe along the lines of matter, force and mind. That is the art of a magician, bending reality. But evil magicians bent our reality not to our humanistic, life-affirming favour, did they not? So now our work is to bend it back so that we are at one with our planet and our true nature, nature itself, which is the ultimate manifestation of God. Adjust the timelines back, pre-2001, September 11, but in effect pre-fucking Oppenheimer. It's been a slow declension since then, really, has it not? Well, then there's people like me who are stubborn little witches that cleave to our truth and our honour and our integrity and our personal magic and our energy and our deep heartfelt love, and remind you all every day, makes me many enemies, that we are powerful beyond measure, and together we can shift things back to how it should have been all along. Peaceful, loving, earth honouring. Wow. That's my plan anyway for the future. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're doing it day by day, breath by breath, moment by moment, together. You holding me up, sometimes me holding you up, and we're flying. We're flying in our own energy cores and our own meridians and our own magic. Even Mama T with a squidgy fucking neck because she flew a little bit too hard. But it was awesome. I even made 2 new friends. So, there you go, Charlie. So you see, therefore, that mental transmutation is really the magic of which the ancient writers had so much to say in their mystical works, and about which they gave so few practical instructions. If all be mental, then the art which enables one to transmute mental conditions must render the master the controller of material conditions as well as those ordinarily called mental. We're talking here about kind of the law of attraction and manifestations. As the spirits reminded me, believe and receive, and I've been struggling even with that because I'm a bit mental. I have very great difficulty in believing and receiving, and when I do receive I'm grateful, but I'm like, it can happen very quickly, almost like a lightning strike when the gods bless me with manifestations, like the great and immense and powerful gift of the air conditioner, which means I don't almost fucking die every summer like I used to, and other great, immense and powerful gifts of heart and soul and love and beauty and cherishing that have been flowed to me over the many decades that I've lived on this planet. As a matter of fact, none but advanced mental alchemists have been able to attain the degree of power necessary to control the grosser physical conditions, such as the control of the elements of nature, the production or cessation of tempests, the production and cessation of earthquakes and other great physical phenomena. But that such men have existed and do exist today is a matter of earnest belief to all advanced occultists of all schools. My biological grandfather, Antoni Patula, had the gift of being able to whistle up a wind on the calm seas when he worked as a ship's carpenter on sailing ships. He was able to manipulate nature, and I have that gift to a lesser degree. But sometimes I can divert storms. I can't prevent them completely, but I can divert them. On rare occasions, I have to put in a lot of energy into that though, and I sometimes can make it rain. But so I guess I have some of my grandfather's abilities, but he was a very, very, very powerful witch. And my mother told me when I was quite young still, married with my 2 little children, she said, you will come into your abilities when you're an older woman. How do you know, Mum? She said, it's happening to me. And my mother's ability was the ability to bilocate, which was fucking terrifying. I had to tell her to stop doing it at one point. She wasn't completely conscious of it because it was beginning more and more to manifest as she descended into Alzheimer's, and her brain was literally turning to cottage cheese. Quark, they call that in German. It's probably her chipping in. Quark, darling. Quark. Yeah, well, whatever. You're not allowed in my energy, Mum. I'm sorry, but you're not allowed near me for the rest of eternity. It's funny, I've been talking about her a lot lately. It's not good. Not a positive thing to be talking about my mother. Sad but true. Off doch Mensch. Yeah, I know. Off doch Mensch. Have you evolved yet, Gisela? By the time she evolves, I'll be dead and it'll be a moot point. I'll have moved into some other dimension. Hopefully neither the twain shall meet ever again. Or so I pray. That the masters exist and have these powers. The best teachers assure their students, having had experience which justify them in such belief and statements. I'm twitching because she's trying to talk to me, and as I said, it's not appropriate to interrupt me when I'm reading, especially the Kybalion. Yesterday I did a protection prayer, remember? And there's no accident that she's coming through, because yesterday I noticed her diabetes testing sticks were being used as bookmarks. So that's what's happening, people. Don't freak out. I'm not freaking out, I'm just a bit disturbed by it. But my mother has and had a very powerful spirit, as did her biological father and her evil, abusive mother, and very likely her father who raised her from birth as his own child. So they were all very powerful spirits. My father-in-law and mother-in-law also very, very powerful spirits. So, they've started manifesting and chatting to me in recent years, and it's astonishing. But what can you do? Energy is energy. It's a big, big universe, and if they have something that they're trying to remedy after years of abuse of me, then that too is important, and I need to allow them to remedy the things they did to me. But don't ever ask me to trust those bastards, including Davidson, who floats through from time to time. There's a lot they have to fix, and it's not possible in this incarnation. I don't believe. Of course it's up to God, but I've seen the improvements even in the last 12 months since my beautiful Beauregard's death. The huge, vast improvements in my spirit, mind, body, and in my core. And I've witnessed the love that's been flowed to me so delightfully. So maybe they are right to be hanging around and interrupting my work. But I need to focus, so please go back into the light, and I call upon Creator, all that is, was, and ever shall be, to protect this sacred space, this reading, this emanation, this manifestation to my YouTube audience and subscribers. so that we have no more interruptions. Amen. Vasula. Right, where were we? These masters do not make public exhibitions of their powers, but seek seclusion from the crowds of men in order to better work their way along the path of attainment. We mention their existence at this point merely to call your attention to the fact that their power is entirely mental and operates along the lines of the higher mental transmutation under the Hermetic principle of mentalism. The universe is mental, the Kybalion. But students and Hermetists of lesser degree than masters, the initiates and teachers, are able to freely work along the mental plane and mental transmutation. In fact, all that we call psychic phenomena, mental influence, mental science, new thought phenomena, etc., operates along the same general lines, for there is but one principle involved, no matter by what name the phenomena be called. You're very chirpy, Charlie. Who are you talking to? The student and practitioner of mental transmutation works along the mental plane, transmuting mental conditions, states, etc. into others according to various formulas, more or less efficacious. The various treatments, affirmations, denials, etc. of the schools of mental science are but formulas, often quite imperfect and unscientific, of the Hermetic art. The majority of modern practitioners are quite ignorant compared to the ancient masters, for they lack the fundamental knowledge upon which the work is based. Not only may the mental states, etc. of oneself be changed or transmuted by Hermetic methods, but also Hermetic but not Herpetic. But I'm still very honoured by that snake being here. But also the states of others. But also the states of others may be and are constantly transmuted in the same way, usually unconsciously, but often consciously, by some understanding the laws and principles, in cases where the people affected are not informed of the principles of self-protection. And more than this, as many students and practitioners of modern mental science know, every material condition depending upon the minds of other people may be changed or transmuted in accordance with the earnest desire, will and treatments of person desiring changed conditions of life. The public is so generally informed regarding these things at present that we do not deem it necessary to mention the same at length. Our purpose at this point being merely to show the Hermetic principle and art underlying all of these various forms of practice, good and evil, for the force can be used in opposite directions according to the Hermetic principles of polarity. In this little book, we shall state the basic principles of mental transmutation, that all who read may grasp the underlying principles and thus possess the master key that will unlock the many doors of the principle of polarity. We shall now proceed to a consideration of the first of the Hermetic 7 principles, the principle of mentalism, in which is explained the truth that the all is mind. It's probably why I survived so many near deaths. I simply chose, by force of will, my own mind, to keep living. But I'm not always sure at what point that choice was made, because some of those near deaths I was actively also choosing to die. And here's the paradox. My higher mind simply knew better, or chose differently and wanted more for me. A full and vibrant, loving life surrounded by my tribe, my friends and my family, and business associates if I ever manifested my business. I know I have to roll my eyes at that one too. And perhaps one day a truly loving, adoring, protective, caring, sustaining, romantic, passionate, loyal, faithful partner. I know, but it's a manifestation that I've been working at for 30 years, so I can't let go of it now, can I? It's become a habit now, it's become part of who I am, that constant wishing, yearning, dreaming, hoping and dancing and manifesting and loving. It's who I am now. It's too late to shuck that off. I try on occasion and I go into despairing states and say, what's the point? It's never going to happen. I'm too weird. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not rich. I don't own my own home and land. I've got nothing to offer. I fall into that abyss, I give up. And then almost instantaneously at times, something else literally kicks me up the tuchus and says, no, don't give up. There's someone out there for you who's worthy of your power, your light, your love, and your occasional righteous wrath as well. Your spirit, your heart, your soul, your corazon, your neshama, your essence, your wildness, and your joy. Little lies we tell ourselves to keep us cleave to this planet. We shall now proceed to a consideration of the... I think I read that all already, dear Goddess. We ask for close attention and careful study of this great principle on the part of our students, for it is really the basic principle of the whole Hermetic philosophy and of the Hermetic art of mental transmutation. First, you decide what it is you want from life. And then you envisage it. You create the picture in your brain of what it is you want, really want. That will be life affirming, beautiful, and safe, and good for all parties involved. Like you form it in your mind. And then you need to take action to allow it to come to fruition. In my case, it was by going dancing, so I'll be out amongst people. So I had an opportunity to meet someone capable of loving me one day. It didn't happen for the 12 years I danced at the casino. It didn't manifest as in a sexual love life partnership, but it brought me wonderful friends. And that too is a very high vibration of love, probably the highest true friendship that lasts forever, as opposed to a dropping of the pants and a fucking off by not even, sometimes waiting till morning, like you were some dirty rag. So, and it's painful. It's painful to even admit that, but that's what it was. back in the day, used and abused, for which I am still righteously wrathful to this day. Anyway, where was I going with that? Then you need to, after manifesting, imagining mentally what it is you actually want from life. Whatever it is you're wanting, you then need to believe and receive. And that involves allowing the spirits and the angels and other mortals to come into your sphere of operation, your life, and manifest it and co-create it with, for, by, of you, together. If it's to do with relationships, it takes two to tango, babies. What is the sound of one hand clapping? If a tree falls in a forest and no one's there to see it, does anyone hear it fall? A love partnership takes two people putting in the deep love, passion and romance, and the actual emotional effort as well. But anyway, you have to manifest it, is what I'm saying, by opening up the potentiates, by being present. Same with silversmithing. I had to buy the silver spoon or fork. I had to imagine how I want this to be, what form I want it to take when I transmute it from a fork into what forms it will then take. I have to imagine. Then I have to physically do the hard work, the alchemy of heating it with a torch to make the metal more pliable and softer again, quenching it, taking it out, bending it if I'm going to bend it into a ring. And if it's still not bending too easily, I may have to take a hammer to give it a good old, coercion, smooth it into place, into the bends. And then when the ring is formed, I'll need to, tumble it, polish it, and then I get the joy of wearing it. Or if I gift it to someone else gets the joy of wearing it. But it's a process that started with the thought, the decision to, I'm going to make something, I'm going to create something. Same when I wanted my babies. It began with a desire to manifest a mini-me. I wanted my babies. And I had to go to my husband and say, I want to have a baby. Of course, the dull clock that he was said, I don't want to have children yet. I was very young, mind you. So he kind of was right. Could have fucking waited, But I'm grateful I didn't wait, because after having my second child, I wasn't able to have any more children. So whatever condition brought that on might have manifested anyway. And had I not had my children at the ages I did, 20 and a half and 22, I might not have had the opportunity to be a mother and give birth if I'd waited another 10 years. So you see how it started with a thought and a drive and an urgency. And I said to my husband, I have to do it now. We have to do it now. You're nearly 30. I'm young, but you're not young. I'm only 30, which is still quite young comparatively, by the way. I know that now at pushing 60, but from a biological reproduction standpoint, men can pump out sperm at whatever age, but the sperm does diminish and bears the risk of having, unhealthy children or stillbirths or deformities or what. It's a risk. Any time you indulge in the reproduction process, it's a risk. Even with two perfectly healthy, vigorous young people, because it depends on your gene expression and what illnesses there might be in the family bloodlines and what illnesses the pregnant mother might have experienced during the it's all a gigantic primordial soup. You never know what you're going to get, am I right? But I knew that I wanted a baby straight away. I said to Mum, we'll have one now, we'll have one in 5 years' time, because by then I'll be 25, and then maybe we'll have a third when I'm 30. That was my visioning. But we had Crystal, and I fell almost, 8 months later pregnant with Jasmine. So bing, bam, boom, baby. I had two little girl babies, very, very quick in the piece, 20 and a half, and then 20, just after my 22nd birthday. But it was destiny, because my spirit knew, my higher mind knew, if you don't have them young, you better have them now, Tanya. And even I wondered, why am I so driven? What's the rush? We weren't poor, we had a paid-up house. There was no rush need to rush into anything. But because we weren't poor and had a paid-up house, didn't have a mortgage and didn't have to work so goddamn hard like most women these days, having their babies, having to pay mortgages with often lacklustre, useless husbands as well, dear goddess, having to farm all their kids out to strangers to raise them while they work like navvies with their flagging wombs. And I don't know how you younger women are doing it. I would not have survived, quite frankly, with my health issues and my trauma issues as well. But by gods, I take my hat off to you, what you young women are having to do. You should not have to farm your kids out to strangers, though. Like, I was fortunate that I was able to be at home with my babies, but made no difference anyway. They were strange to me anyway. So whatever quantity or quality of life, can't always fucking win. But anyway, I had my children young, and for that I'm grateful, is what I'm saying. But it was a powerful, constant thought, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now, which I had the spiritual gnosis to not question, to obey, and I'm glad I did. Anyway, let us continue. We'll read a bit longer, we're 1 hour in. Oh, we're up to chapter 4 now, so that was an hour it took to read that chapter. No, I've changed my mind. I will no, we'll keep going. Sorry, I can't decide. We'll keep going. And remind me to stop with the segues, because it takes up too much time. And I don't even know if it makes sense half the time anyway. Chapter 4, the All. Under and back of the universe of time, space and change is ever to be found the substantial reality, the fundamental truth, the Kybalion. Substance means that which underlies all outward manifestations, the essence, the essential reality, the thing in itself, etc. Substantial means actually existing, being the essential element, being real, etc. Reality means the state of being real, true, enduring, valid, fixed, permanent, actual, etc. Under and behind all outward appearances or manifestations, there must always be a substantial reality. That is the law. Man, considering the universe of which he is a unit, sees nothing but change in matter, forces, and mental states. He sees that nothing really is, but that everything is becoming and changing, which, by the way, God's name under my tattoo, Ayeh Asher Ayeh, means I am whom I am becoming, because God is eternal and in a constant state of evolution, along with everything he ever created. We're all in a constant state of flux and change and adaptation and growing and manifestation, metamorphosis. Nothing stands still. Everything is being born, growing, dying. The very instant a thing reaches its height, it begins to decline. The law of rhythm is in constant operation. There is no reality, enduring quality, fixity, or substantiality in anything. Nothing is permanent but change. He sees all things evolving from other things and resolving into other things. A constant action and reaction, inflow and outflow, building up and tearing down. Charlie's really active today. She started early, called me to get her out of her cage. First thing she heard me get out of bed, she was twitterpated. Must be because it's cooler today with the rain. It's quite astonishing how twitterpated she is today. This tells me that something lovely is about to manifest. And my birdie's twitterpated. Mama's twitterpated too. Oh. So I'll start that again. He sees all things evolving from other things and resolving into other things, a constant action and reaction, inflow and outflow, building up and tearing down, creation and destruction, birth, growth and death. Nothing endures but change. And if he be a thinking man, he realizes that all of these changing things must be but outward appearances or manifestations of some underlying power, some substantial reality. All thinkers in all lands and in all times have assumed the necessity for postulating the existence of this substantial reality. All philosophies worthy of the name have been based upon this thought. Men have given to this substantial reality many names. Some have called it by the term of deity, under many titles. Others have called it the infinite and eternal energy. Others have tried to call it matter, but all have acknowledged its existence. It is self-evident. It needs no argument. In these lessons we have followed the example of some of the world's greatest thinkers, both ancient and modern, the Hermetic masters, and have called this underlying power, the substantial reality, by the Hermetic name of the All, which term we consider the most comprehensive of the many terms applied by man to that which transcends names and terms. We accept and teach the view of the great Hermetic thinkers of all times, as well as of those illumined souls who have reached higher planes of being, both of whom assert that the inner nature of the All is unknowable. This must be so, for naught by the All itself can comprehend its own nature and being. The Hermetists believe and teach that the all in itself is and must ever be unknowable. This is a big part of Jewish teaching as well, that we don't have thousands of names for God, but God actually, ironically, has no name. He's ineffable, cannot be described, cannot be contained or controlled, cannot be labelled, and yet we label him. But ultimately, God is beyond all of that. But who am I to speak of God, since I didn't observe Yom Kippur and was a heathen? Small violin. I'm joking, because I know God forgave me. He put me to work on that night, though. He put me to work on that night. They regard all the theories, guesses and speculations of the theologians and metaphysicians regarding the inner nature of the all as but the childish efforts of mortal minds to grasp the secret of the infinite. Such efforts have always failed and will always fail from the very nature of the task. One pursuing such inquiries travels around and around in the labyrinth of thought until he is lost to all sane reasoning, action or conduct, and is utterly unfitted for the work of life. He is like the squirrel which frantically runs around and around the circling treadmill wheel of his cage, travelling ever and yet reaching nowhere, at the end a prisoner still, and standing just where he started, which is a source of much of my frustration with my own life, my inability to escape that prison of mind that kept me trapped in poverty and in trauma and in dis-ease, and denied me my one true loving partner as well. It's been a fucking cruel fate, and all I can hope and pray is that it changes very, very soon, as was prophesied and promised over the many decades ago. And still more presumptuous are those who attempt to ascribe to the all the personality, qualities, properties, characteristics and attributes of themselves, ascribing to the all the human emotions, feelings and characteristics, even down to the pettiest qualities of mankind, such as jealousy, susceptibility to flattery and praise, desire for offerings and worship, and all the other survivals from the days of the childhood of the race. Such ideas are not worthy of grown men and women, and are rapidly being discarded indeed. At this point, it may be proper for me to state that we make a distinction between religion and theology, between philosophy and metaphysics. Religion to us means that intuitional realization of the existence of the all and one's relationship to it, while theology means the attempts of men to ascribe personality, qualities and characteristics to it, their theories regarding its affairs, will, desires, plans and designs, and their assumption of the office of middlemen between the all and the people. You don't need a middleman. What did Eurythmics sing? Don't mess with the missionary man. By the gods. You don't technically even need a shaman. You can heal yourself, but you have to decide to heal yourself. sometimes we'll need a little kick up the tuchus though, or alternatively, a loving guiding hand. Life is the ultimate teacher. Remember that, people of Earth. Even for birdies and doggies and pussycats, all sentient beings. She's lying in my hand, with her eyes closed and her head back, in some kind of ecstasy. Strange little birdie today. Very, very strange. She's in love today too. Are you in love, Charlie? Are you in love? Have the gods, the Holy One in all manifestations, have they manifested a true and deep love to us today? Have they? Have they poured love into us here at sacred space? You should see her face. She looks fucking high. She's like this. Oh, bless. Philosophy to us means the inquiry after knowledge of things knowable and thinkable, while metaphysics means the attempt to carry the inquiry over and beyond the boundaries and into regions unknowable and unthinkable, with the same tendency as that of theology, and consequently both religion and philosophy mean to us things having roots in reality, while theology and metaphysics seem... Sorry, I just got interrupted. Mean to us things having roots in reality, while theology and metaphysics seem like broken reeds, rooted in the quicksands of ignorance, and affording naught but the most insecure support for the mind or soul of man. We do not insist upon our students accepting these definitions. We mention them merely to show our position. At any rate, we shall hear very little about theology and metaphysics in these lessons. But while the essential nature of the all is unknowable, there are certain truths connected with its existence, which the human mind finds itself compelled to accept, and an examination of these reports form a proper subject of inquiry, particularly as they agree with the reports of the illumined on higher planes. And to this inquiry we now invite you. My God, I'm picking up some powerful images reading this. It's not my mother this time, it's living people. It's intense. Wow. That which is the fundamental truth, the substantial reality, is beyond true naming, but the wise men call it the all, the Kybalion. In its essence, the all is unknowable, the Kybalion. But the report of reason must be hospitably received and treated with respect, the Kybalion. The human reason, whose reports we must accept so long as we think at all, informs us as follows regarding the all, and that without attempting to remove the veil of the unknowable. 1. The all must be all that really is. There can be nothing existing outside of the all, else the all would not be the all, meaning that we are all interconnected across all dimensions, time and space. Just saying. 2. The all must be infinite, for there is nothing else to define, confine, bound, limit or restrict the all. It must be infinite in time or eternal. It must have always continuously existed, for there is nothing else to have ever created it, and something can never evolve from nothing, and if it had ever not been, even for a moment, it would not be now. It must continuously exist forever, for there is nothing to destroy it, and it can never not be, even for a moment, because something can never become nothing. It must be infinite in space. It must be everywhere, for there is no place outside of the all. It cannot be otherwise than continuous in space. Just checking something because I'm picking up full-on fucking energies and I need to know. Right, no, it's not that. Okay, cool. Oh. And it's 11:11, so make a wish, people of Earth, to the angels. Amanda Silla. Just a little prayer for myself, because why not? Work it, baby, work it, baby. Living my best life. Let's continue. It must be infinite in space. It must be everywhere, for there is no place outside of the all. It cannot be otherwise than continuous in space, without break, cessation, separation, or interruption. For there is nothing to break, separate, or interrupt its continuity, and nothing with which to fill in the gaps. It must be infinite in power or absolute, for there is nothing to limit, restrict, restrain, confine, disturb, or condition it. It is subject to no other power, for there is no other power. 3. The all must be immutable, or not subject to change in its real nature, for there is nothing to work changes upon it, nothing into which it could change, nor from which it could have changed. Let me just because the very emotional video I posted earlier is published, so I just want to quickly change the title because multitasking, tiny multitaskers. Right, done. Dear Goddess, I really hope I'm not getting early onset dementia because it's a horrible way to die and I'll have to suicide if I get a diagnosis. I will. I'm not going down how my mother went down. It was evil and it was ugly and no human being deserves that. So I will euthanize myself, to put it delicately. But anyway, hopefully it doesn't come to that. Number 3, I better take a lover soon, babies, so I get to enjoy my full blossoming and vibrancy of my own body, mind and spirit before I go into the final descent. It's starting to fucking scare me that I'm potentially running out of time, but that's nonsensical and absurdist, because even my urologist and my psychiatrist have both affirmed to me that I have plenty of time, in fact, perhaps even 30 more years. But 30 more years alone struggling in poverty is not my envisioning for myself, and although I can handle continuing alone, it's a terrifying thought actually. I've done it for almost 30 years but it's been astonishing. So it's not what I want, it's not my life plan for my future. But it's in the lap of the gods. I don't actually know for sure with full confidence and faith what my future is going to be like. It's all semantics and manifestations and affirmations and dreamings and yearnings and hoping and wishing and praying and segueing. Here we go again. Number 3, the all must be immutable or not subject to change in its real nature, for if there, I've read that, dear Goddess. Nothing into which it could change, nor from which it could have changed, cannot be added to, nor subtracted from, increased nor diminished, nor become greater or lesser in any respect whatsoever. It must have always been and must always remain just what it is now, the all. There has never been, is not now, and never will be anything else into which it can change. The all being infinite, absolute, eternal and unchangeable, it must follow that anything finite, changeable, fleeting and conditioned cannot be the all. I don't agree with that, actually, to be honest, because we are all sparks of the divine. So we are all tiny part of the fabric of the universe, or the multiverses according to your philosophy, and we're all in a constant flux of change and evolution, all of us together. If you don't change, you atrophy and you die, people of Earth. But make sure that the changes that you accept are life-affirming and human and keep you as part of the fabric of the nature of our planet. Just saying. Anyway, and as there is nothing outside of the all in reality, then any and all such finite things must be as nothing in reality. Now do not become befogged nor frightened. We're not trying to lead you into the Christian Science field under cover of Hermetic philosophy. Thank you for that, by the way. There is a reconciliation of this apparently contradictory state of affairs. Be patient. We will reach it in time. We see around us that which is called matter, which forms the physical foundation for all forms. Is the all merely matter? Not at all. Matter cannot manifest life or mind, and as life and mind are manifested in the universe, the all cannot be matter, for nothing rises higher than its own source. Nothing is ever manifested in an effect that is not in the cause. Nothing is evolved as a consequent that is not evolved as an antecedent. And then modern science informs us that there is really no such thing as matter, that what we call matter is merely interrupted energy or force, that is, energy or force at a low rate of vibration. As a recent writer has said, matter has melted into mystery. Even material science has abandoned the theory of matter and now rests on the basis of energy. Then is the all mere energy or force? Not energy or force as the materialists use the terms, for their energy and force are blind mechanical things devoid of life or mind. Life and mind can never evolve from blind energy or force, for the reason given a moment ago. Nothing can rise higher than its source. Nothing is evolved unless it is involved. Nothing manifests in the effect unless it is in the cause. And so the all cannot be mere energy or force, for if it were, then there would be no such things as life and mind in existence, and we know better than that. For we are alive and using mind to consider this very question, and so are those who claim that energy or force is everything. What is there then higher than matter or energy that we know to be existent in the universe? Life and mind. Life and mind in all their varying degrees of unfoldment. Then you ask, do you mean to tell us that the all is life and mind? Yes and no is our answer. If you mean life and mind as we poor petty mortals know them, we say, no, the all is not that. But what kind of life and mind do you mean, you ask? The answer is living mind, as far above that which mortals know by those words, as life and mind are higher than mechanical forces or matter. Infinite living mind as compared to finite life and mind. We mean that which the illumined souls mean when they reverently pronounce the word Spirit. The all is infinite living mind. The illumined call it Spirit. Right, we're up to chapter 5, page 65. If you have your own copy of Kybalion, you can follow along, I guess. I haven't suggested that to anyone before, but I'm getting dizzy and weak and emanating and picking up energies, and I'm literally almost vibrating at a different level, so it's time to stop making videos today, I think. Take a rest, go make something to eat. I might do a chant strumming because I can see Charlie's highly emanating too, and her little bird brain and body, and I'm emanating, so this spirit is around us and probably wishing to communicate. So I'll see how I feel later. If I'm not too tired, I'll do my little trance drumming and or meditation. So have a beautiful morning. It's still morning, 11:23 a.m. and I've been productive this morning. Is it good or is it bad? How crazy do I look today? Meh. It is what it is, babies. It's about to rain again soon. It's imminent and or is raining. But have a beautiful day, and remember Mama T, aka the Tanya, Miss 5, Tanya Desiree Aaron's son, sends love out to you all as channeled through by the Holy One and all manifestations, the gods, spirit, the multiverses. Be well, be happy, be safe on your journey through life on this astonishingly beautiful, magical blue marble hurling through space, and be kind, be honouring, and love the ones who love you back truly and honouringly and sweetly, and be at peace, my beautiful ones of planet Earth. Bye for now.
Kissy, Charlie.
I'm going to do it now.
That was very cool, Charlie.
Bye for now, planet Earth.